This is Logitech's ultra-thin magnetic clip-on keyboard cover for the iPad mini. Hi, Dan for your diary. We've looked at lots of different keyboards for the iPad and the iPad mini, and some of them have been phenomenal, others a little bit less so. I had tried a keyboard cover for my iPad mini a few months ago and found that it was too cramped to really type well with it, and it wasn't stable enough with my iPad. So I actually ended up returning the one I bought. Well, Logitech was kind enough to send a review sample of their ultra-thin magnetic clip-on keyboard cover. It has an MSRP of $89.99. And it is a new way of thinking about a keyboard cover for the iPad mini. It's rather unique, and it's also pretty darn impressive. So let's take a look at the keyboard cover. Inside the package, you get the keyboard cover itself. It is 6.4 millimeters thick or thin, which is 0.25 inches. It's a 1/4 inch thick, and it is very, very nicely built. In addition to the keyboard cover, you get some information, and you get the requisite USB to micro USB charging cable for the keyboard cover. So this is the keyboard cover itself. It is referred to by Logitech as the other half of your iPad. It's thin, it's light, it's smart. It has a flexible multi-angle stand. It's comfortable for typing, and it enables you to protect the iPad screen when you're not using it. It is, as I said, 6.4 millimeters thick, and it's about 2/3 the weight of the iPad itself. So you're not even going to double the weight of the iPad when you start using it. It easily and securely attaches to the iPad so that it does function as a cover, and it gets up to 3 months of battery life per charge thanks to its built-in battery. The keyboard cover has a range of 10 meters, which is 30 feet, typical of Bluetooth devices. As I mentioned, it gets 3 months of battery life, and the viewing angle is 50 to 70 degrees. So let's take a look at the design of it. So first off, you have this nice keyboard right here. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit smaller because of the iPad mini being smaller. And on this side, if we flip around, you have the Logitech name over here. You've got little bit of rubber here and at the corners so it won't slip around, but that's really it. And it is very, very solid feeling. It looks nice and it feels very substantial. Here along this side, you have the micro USB charging port, you have the on-off switch, and you have a button for pairing this to your iPad. The pairing process takes just a few seconds. Nothing along the front, nothing along the back. So there are two parts to this keyboard that you don't necessarily realize immediately. The first is the portion right here, which actually will adjust to different angles. We'll look at that in a second. And the second is this portion right here that flips up. It closes when you're not using it. It flips up. So why does it flip up? It flips up because if you want the iPad in place, you simply slide it in and it's magnetic and it attaches directly to the iPad mini. So now I've got the screen of my iPad completely protected. I've got something that's about double the normal thickness. And I can throw this in my bag and the screen's protected. When I want to use the keyboard, I simply flip it up. When I pull the iPad away, it closes, and then I can simply place it into the rut that's here, and this rut can angle back. We'll get this on camera in a second. Let's do it this way. So this is with it in the down position. I put the iPad mini into it, and I simply use the iPad mini, and I can adjust the angle of the iPad so that it's as comfortable as possible. Turning on, it will immediately pair. I can make sure that that's the case by just double tapping there. If I want to do an email, the keyboard actually works nicely. It is a little bit on the small side, but I will say, as I used it more, I became much more comfortable with it. So it's worth noting that because this is a smaller keyboard, that you have some of the keys are doubling up functionality wise. So you've got cut, copy, and paste here, which will be function X, function C, function V. You've got your Siri button up here. Function 2 will let you do that. And your audio controls, your media controls are up here. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to the small size of this and used to the way the keyboard is laid out. But overall, it works really, really nicely. The Logitech magnetic clip-on keyboard cover for the iPad mini. It's available now. We'll have links to purchase it in the notes below. We'll have the full written review over on Gear Diary. This is Dan from Gear Diary. Thanks very much for watching.